Wendy, it's bedtime. Pick up your toys and hop into bed. Please go to sleep, Wendy. Grandfather was the babysitter for the evening, and he would have much rather been playing checkers. Go to sleep, Wendy. Wendy was 4, and she had an answer for her grandfather. It was an answer carefully thought out, complete, and final. No! Not until you tell me a story. A story? I'll sing you a lullaby instead. Grandfather was still thinking about his checker game. Come on now, Wendy. Grandfather will sing you a lullaby and then you'll go to sleep, won't you? Probably not. Besides, you don't know any lullabies. Tell me a story instead. I don't know any lullabies? Huh. I'm the fellow who invented lullabies. Why, in fact, I invented music. What do you think of that, young lady? Wendy laughed. The dolls laughed. And the people on the wallpaper laughed. And Gobo, who was an elephant, laughed so hard that the stuffing came right out of him. Please, Wendy, you'll never go to sleep if you keep laughing. I'll never go to sleep if you try to sing, Grandfather. Tell me a story. Tell me how you invented music. Well, once upon a time, about 4 million years ago, the world was a dark, unhappy place. The sun rose hopefully every morning, changed his mind and went back to bed. The birds didn't sing, they had nothing to sing. The bells didn't ring, they had nothing to ring. Nobody could dance, there was nothing to dance to. No drum majors pranced, there was nothing to prance to. Nobody waved, not even at their friends. Worst of all, the children never went to sleep, for there were no lullabies. So they just cried and cried and cried. Now, in this happy time, there lived a great inventor, me, your grandfather. I had invented lots of things for children, like dolls and scooters and lollipops and chocolate milk. But still they weren't happy. I tried to figure out why, but the kids cried so much that I couldn't hear myself think. So one day I decided to go out into the woods to build a new house where it would be quiet. I took my bow and arrow, got into the car, and drove out to the edge of town. Well, this looks like a good place, I said. But when I started to chop down a tree with my axe, there was a funny sound. I hit another tree and there was a funnier sound. And then I hit a bunch of trees. And it sounded so good, I said to myself, if trees sound this good, what will happen if I hit this big rock? Pretty good. Think I'll try another one. Even better. Now another one. Think I'll try them all together. Oh, and so while I was at it, I just decided to go ahead and invent television too. I had a busy morning. I hit around on rocks and sticks and stones, and before you knew it, I was on the track of invented music. So I rushed home and started inventing as fast as I could. First, I invented the flute. Next, the oboe. But then I decided it would take too long like this. I'd better invent them in bunches. Clarinets, bass clarinets, and bassoons. I said, get invented. And they did. And after the woodwinds, I invented the trumpets. Next, I invented the horns. And then the slide trombones. And finally, the tuba. No, that's not right. Let's call that the piccolo. Here's a trio of tubas. But that wasn't all I needed. I had to have sharps and flats and pizzicato, molto lento and staccato, treble clef, retard, repeat, allegro chord and boogie beat, major, minor, jig and waltz, scherzo, downbeat, jazz and smalt, jukebox, drumstick and puccini, bassoons, batons, and Toscanini. And when I put them all together, I had music. Now, all this inventing had made me so much noise that people gathered from miles around. And since they all looked like they wanted to stay for supper, I had to figure out some way to get them away from there. So I said, abracadabra, but they didn't move. Then I said, hocus pocus, but they stayed right there. And finally I had a big idea. I said, January, February, March. And sure enough, the first music my instruments played was a march. But then something terrible happened, for when the people learned to march, somebody started a war. And the only way I could think to stop it was to invent dance music. Well, the dance music stopped the fight all right, and everybody had a wonderful time dancing. But they got so tired dancing, I had to figure out a way to let them rest. So I invented the symphony concert. Complete with a scowling music critic on every row. But you know, even with the birds singing and the bells ringing and the pretty girls waving when they heard their friends say hi, something was still missing, and I couldn't imagine what it was until I heard the children crying. It was evening, and a little bird flew above the rooftops. A funny-looking, sunny-looking kind of bird, and his song was the lullaby. And when the children heard the soft, quiet slumber song, they went to sleep and dreamed about ice cream cones and puppy dogs and circus clowns. And that, Wendy, said Grandfather, and then he stopped. Wendy was asleep. And the people painted on the wallpaper, and Gobo, who was an elephant. Grandfather smiled and closed his eyes. And then a strange thing happened. He seemed to be hearing voices across the centuries. Beethoven and Stradivarius, and Bach and Pan the Piper, and all the others who had found ways of bringing sound out of wood and wind. He heard them and he knew all their voices, which was strange because all they said was, "So you invented music, huh?" Grandfather smiled again. Well, she asked for a story.